which means, and this is, I didn't really touch on that point, but you're absolutely right. The sun that we see, which obviously we shouldn't stare at, but
Yeah.
the sun that we see is actually the sun of 8 minutes ago. It's not the sun now. And
Yeah.
that's why these incredible telescopes, you mentioned James Webb's telescope, I think you said it's about 3 stories high.
Yeah.
It can actually peer back in time and in space um, over 13.6 billion years, billion light years. So you
Yeah.
can't imagine how far that is. And what they see, what it sees is the beginning of the stars, the planets, the galaxies, which
Wow.
is remarkable. So time and space merge into this time space continuum, I suppose.
Yeah.
So when they look out with these incredible telescopes, as you say, it's James Webb now. Before that, it was the Hubble telescope.
Yeah.
We're looking back in time, which is again mind blowing. Really, what we're seeing 13 billion years ago is not what's there now. It's what
Oh,
was
yeah.
there 13 billion years ago.
Oh, yeah. We look at, yeah. Yeah, I understand it now. We're actually looking back in time. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. Wow. If you ever
We're
find,
looking at the sun. Looking at the sun, as I say, we're looking back in time
yeah.
because that was what we see up there in the old sky was 8 minutes ago, not now.
No,
And
no,
it's
no.
forever like that because it takes the light of the sun that long to get here.
Wow.
At that speed, of course, we know it's coming at us at 186,000 miles
An
per
hour.
second.
Per second. Yeah. Right, Trevor, this is what I was going to say, right? If you ever find yourself in one of these um galaxies or one of the orbits that is like 32
Yeah,
million miles away, you're lost
yeah.
forever. That's it. That's it. You're gone. There's no way
Well, I'm
back.
not sure. I'm not sure I'd ever find myself in one of those
Yeah, it's,
galaxies, but
by the time you come,
unless,
the
hmm?
whole of human race, as you know it now, will be gone.
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't know, do we, whether time travel is possible, given that telescopes can look back in time. You'd think that time travel in future centuries could become a possibility, but
Become
I
a
think for
possibility.
now they don't think it's possible to do that.
Wow.
But yeah, it's incredible stuff, really.
It's mind blowing, isn't it? It's incredible. It's incredible. Oh yeah, I mean, we're not going to go into the religious aspect of it, but it
No,
just goes to
no.
show you that there is, like you say, there's a lot of planning that you know, must have gone into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. So, has anyone ever sent you a text message, a WhatsApp text message, and then you go to read it, and then it's disappeared, and it says this message has been deleted?
Deleted. Yeah, I think I've had that once or twice, and indeed, I think I've deleted one or two, probably more myself, when I found I've sent it to the wrong person. If it was already, if my WhatsApp was already open on someone's WhatsApp
Yeah.
contact,
Yeah.
and then I think, oh, I'll just quickly send that message to someone, and I send it, and it's
Mm.
gone to the wrong person. So, yeah, I've deleted a few myself. And there was one friend of mine going. He's a good chap, going back a year or so, but he would send so many of these little videos and stuff like that. They were quite good,
Yeah.
but it was filling up my phone's memory. So I every so often I delete a good few of those. So he probably sees that they're deleted. But yeah, no. Apart from that, I think it's understandable. People sometimes send it to the wrong person, don't they?
Talking, talking about sending messages to the wrong person. I have a mate called Peter. He's about, he's about, Peter should be 70 something now. Anyway, that's besides the point. But he has two sons, and one of them is called Darren, and the other one is called Ryan. Anyway, one of them, they're all both builders, so they're builders in the family. And he's a builder himself, and he's passed it on to his sons. Um, and
Mm.
And they, every now and then they'd come and borrow a tool, like a building tool, like a trowel or something. And one of them never returns it. And he's made a note of that, Peter. So he's made a note of it. And so when the one that doesn't return the tool, which is So Ryan and what's the name of the other one now? I just mentioned it just now. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, one of the one that doesn't return the tool. So anyway, one of them, Ryan, the one that returns the tools, and he's asked to borrow one of the dad's tools, and the dad thought he was talking to, so he was actually talking to Ryan, but he thought he was talking to the other one that doesn't return the tools.
Right.
So he sent a message. So he sent a message back saying, "Well, I'm glad you're the one borrowing it, Ryan." But it was Darren that he was talking to. So he said, "I'm glad,
Mhm.
I'm glad you're the one borrowing it, Darren, Ryan, because Darren never returns my tools. You know, he just keeps nicking." But he actually sent the message to Darren.
Embarrassing or what? Yeah.
Anyway, Darren read the message, replied back saying, "Dad, this is Darren."
I bet he was embarrassed.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, that made me laugh just because he said about what did you say anyway that brought that up? Oh, what's wrong with my memory today? Something definitely. It's dementia.
Something I said, or
Oh
what have
yeah,
you
that was something
forgotten?
that you said that made me then remember that. Yeah, but I can't remember now. But that's besides the point. But yeah,
Mm.
um, it was something that you was gonna talk about this week. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah, I know there was something I thought about. I think we were talking about life beginning outside the comfort zone.
Right, yeah,
Um, but yeah, there was a story from a few years ago which I need to kind of recollect what
well,
actually happened because
that's fine.
I've not really had time to recall that properly. But I will mention that another
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that's what we were talking about, this so-called comfort zone. And we talked about the Goldilocks zone where the Earth is,
yeah.
and a lot of these numbers, of course, we talked about
Oh yeah, we did
can
talk about.
take us way outside of our comfort zone because we can't conceive of the numbers concerned. And sometimes I guess it's good just to accept. I mean, you say about you go preaching. It's
Yeah,
good to accept life as it is, and you know, just sort of marvel at the magic of life.
yeah,
But it's interesting because I was I was sitting outside waiting for my friend the other day in a car park, and I was watching, obviously, observing people driving by in their cars looking for spaces, and they would all stop while someone parked and so on.
yeah,
And it just struck me actually that I think most people, I suppose because people don't have their game face on, none of us do when we're driving or whatever, do we? We're not, if we're with someone and we're talking and we're animated,
yeah,
even doing something like this, we've got that game face on. It's a bit like you might say there's the poker face and all these other things that we talk about.
yeah.
But just watching people drive by, there was no game face. And I thought, if anything, most of them looked a bit miserable. I mean, that probably isn't, it's not accurate, probably, because anybody can look a bit fed up if they're not, as I say, if they're not actually talking to someone in an animated way. But it just made me, I was there for about half an hour just watching and waiting,
Yeah,
listening to some music. And I just thought, I wonder what people are thinking about. What's going through these people's minds? What are their lives like?
yeah.
And I just wonder sometimes whether it's we're going through a difficult time we know in our country, whether a lot of people have things to worry about, or whether we are basically a contented nation. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a lot going on, Trevor, because in the past 10 years or so, there's been a lot of emphasis on people's mental health.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've noticed that. There's been a lot. It never used to be like that back in the days. You know, there was never that much emphasis on
no, no,
how people felt or how they dealt with certain things or
yeah,
how, but now I think it's becoming a repetitious theme, so to say. There seems to be, even the government is getting on the bandwagon of,